Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do the mid-year freakout tag. Now I know I haven't been on YouTube that long, but I have been reading all year long, and so I thought it would be an interesting tag to do just to kind of see where my reading is, what some of my favorites have been, among some other things. So let's take a look and get started. So the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2022. I couldn't narrow this one down to just one, so I narrowed it down to three different ones, and they're all in different categories. So the first one I have is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Crosby. This one was fantastic. Thriller, a lot of violence. You have two dads who are trying to get redemption for their son's death. Their sons were married and had a child, and they were both murdered. And so their dad set out on a journey, I guess, to find out who killed their sons and kind of avenge their deaths. So two very unlikely characters that wouldn't normally work together, and probably one of the more violent books I've ever read, but fantastic and written so well. So that's the first one. The second one was my favorite audiobook probably this year, plus one of the best books that I've read fiction-wise was The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I loved this audiobook. I thought it was adorable. The voices that the narrator does for this book is fantastic. I talked about that, I believe, in one of my previous videos. It's a book about magical youth, and Linus, who works for the Department of Magical Youth, has to go check on this house of children that nobody else typically goes to, and the kids that he runs into are so adorable and so cute. So it was a great audiobook and one of my favorites so far this year. And then last but not least, my third favorite so far this year was a YA book told in verse, and it was Starfish by Lisa Fipps. A fantastic novel of a girl who is a bit larger for her size, for the age that she is at and the things that she has to deal with. I highly recommend for anyone who has children or maybe a daughter at that age. It was so good, just so good. And I think that one I had heard about from Amanda, the Curly Reader, and I am so happy I picked it up. I actually ended up suggesting it to a lot of my middle school colleagues to read because I thought it was that powerful. Question number 2 is the best sequel you've read so far in 2022. I think that one has to go to the Hawthorne Legacy. I have started the Inheritance games in January and basically instantly picked this one up as well. I am loving this series. It's about a girl. Of course I can't remember her name. Avery's her name, who inherits the Hawthorne estate basically, but none of the grandchildren do. And the first book kind of talks about what happens, and I don't want to give too much away because it is a series, and I am so excited for the third book to come out this summer, I believe it's August. So best sequel I've read so far this year. Number 3, new releases that you haven't read yet but you want to. I feel like this one's kind of cheating because this just came out the other day, but The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This is on my to-read list immediately because not only do I know I want to read this, but I know a couple other people in my life want to read it and borrow it too. So I cannot wait to pick this one up. So this will definitely for sure be a new release that I haven't read yet that I'm going to be picking up soon. Number 4, the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. This, I'm going to go with Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus. I have loved all of her books thus far. They are YA. My favorite is probably The Cousins, but she wrote One of Us is Lying and One of Us is Next, and I do believe One of Us is Lying is now a TV show. And I am so looking forward to this one coming out. I believe it's coming out in either August or September. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Number 5, my biggest disappointment so far this year. don't believe I have it here. I must have borrowed it out to somebody, but it was The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I really liked a couple of her first novels, and so I was expecting big things out of this one. It had multiple perspectives, shorter chapters, and it just fell short for me. I gave it a 3-star. It wasn't horrible, but considering a couple of her other novels I've given 5 stars to, that one just really kind of let me down a little bit. My number 6, my biggest surprise. My biggest surprise this year, and Nicole, you're gonna love this. My biggest surprise was The Spanish Love Deception. We read this for our book club in May, and typically I hate to love romances. They seem completely unrealistic to me. I just don't get it. And I really hated certain books like this in the past. One specifically is I Hate the Hating Game, and that's usually some people's like #1 romance book. And so the fact that I liked this one surprised a lot of people in my book club. To me, it reminded me of the movie The Wedding Date, which I loved that movie. And so this one really surprised me because I couldn't believe that in this fake dating, hate to love, that I actually liked the book. Number 7, my new favorite author of 2022. It could either be a debut or new to me. This is definitely going to be Ashley Winstead. I've read In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, and I'm looking forward to reading her newest one, Fool Me Once, and then she's got another one coming out in August. She's been fantastic. I believe In My Dreams I Hold a Knife was her debut novel, and so I am looking forward to just reading more from her this year. Let's see, number 8, A Fictional Crush. I couldn't think of a fictional crush. I like a lot of the characters that I read, but I couldn't think of one that I actually would have had a crush on. So I kind of skipping that one. My newest favorite character, the first one that I can think of that would come to mind was Patrick, who is also known as Gup in the Guncle. He, basically got asked / pressured into taking his niece and nephew for a summer after his sister-in-law died, who was his best friend, while his brother goes to rehab. And he takes these kids back to his hometown, which I can't remember where it was, but he totally lives a lifestyle that's not suitable for children. And the arc that he had of kind of becoming a better uncle, or still keeping his realistic lifestyle that he liked to live, was kind of an interesting thing to me. And I love that they call him Gup. It stands for Gay Uncle Patrick. And so I just fell in love with his character, and that would be my newest favorite character of 2022. Number 10, A Book That Made You Cry. And it's in my other room. I should have grabbed it, but it was The Wish by Nicholas Sparks. Now, I'm an auto-buy when it comes to Nicholas Sparks books, but lately he had fallen into a rhythm of a lot of his books being the same. It was the same storyline. You might have changed a little bit of this or a little bit of that, but I felt like they were all kind of following the same process. And The Wish, in my opinion, completely changed the game. And it made me fall in love with him as a writer again, which was so refreshing because I used to love his books, and that book made me bawl my eyes out. I'm not going to give anything away, but I loved it. And I am really excited because I did get the arc of his newest book coming out in September, and I can't wait to read it. Number 11, A Book That Made You Happy. Okay, this one might be a little odd, but Dial A For Aunties is a book that made me happy. This one is by Q Sutanto. It is a book about a murder, but it had me laughing so much. And I listened to the audiobook with this one because you do get the accent of the aunties. And I think I remember commenting, for a book that is surrounding a murder and something that happens, it was so funny. So I just remember listening to this one and like smiling the whole way through because I just couldn't believe the antics that were happening. So that's a book that made me happy in 2022. Number 12, the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. Now this one was tough. I kind of was going through all of my shelves. I wasn't really sure what I was gonna pick. And I have to admit, the book that I picked, I'm probably a little biased considering my YouTube name is Books and Beaches. I picked the one that I'm currently reading, Our Last Days in Barcelona by Cleeton. It's a beach scene. Do I need to explain anything further? I love this. I wish I was this character sitting on the beach. This would be fantastic. I'm hoping in a few weeks I will be when we're camping. But yeah, most beautiful cover. That was it for me. And there are a lot of other ones that I've had that are gorgeous as well. This is just the one that called me because the beach. And number 13, the final question in this mid-year freakout tag is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? All of them. A lot of these ones are the new ones that I just hauled. I have a whole bunch over here that I need to do. And there are even some books in these shelves that I haven't read yet. Obviously, according to my haul last time, I really enjoy buying books. And so there is a lot I need to read. And I know there are so many more coming out this year too that I'm probably going to want to read. So yeah, I don't have any specific to list. I just want to list all of them. But that's it. That is the mid-year freakout tag. I cannot believe we're at the end of June. It makes me panic a little bit because I know summer is going to go so fast, but I'm loving the weather lately. I can't wait for some of the vacations that I've got planned, and I can't wait to get some more reading done. So as always, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you're going to be reading this summer, or what are some of the best books that you've read so far this year. I'll interact with you in the comments, and I hope to see you next time.